Welcome to 808s and Joysticks live stream. This is our EA reaction, and this is the first time us going live. It's the first time us recording anything in person together. Even though we've known each other for quite a while, we just haven't had the chance to actually record the podcast in person. But we decided to do a live stream for these next upcoming days. We've got a lot of content to cover. And we just watched the EA press conference, and it was lackluster. It was terrible. Well, it wasn't terrible, but it could have been a lot better. And I think EA knew that they had to be a little bit more careful this year, especially with what they were doing with the games and the whole loot box craze that's happened. And it started out quite slow, just showing off your typical games. It started off showing Anthem, which we got a deep dive of later into the show, and then started off with Battlefield as the first game to properly talk about, and they announced that Battle Royale was coming, which we already knew. So that wasn't really much of a big shock to me. What do you think, Tom? You think it wasn't really a big shock, was it?
I mean, this is the first time we've ever done something like this, so we're not sure if there's technical difficulties. We don't actually know if we're live right now. I also need to stop listening to myself because that's really off-putting. So overall it was quite boring, I think. I don't think it was a great E3 in general. It didn't seem to be. Well,
let's not take E3 off as a whole thing just because.
I mean,
EA.
Starting on EA, you expect a little bit more. So obviously there was that really exciting Anthem bit at the beginning, and that's something we haven't really seen before. It was pretty wild when that come on, but then Battlefield 5 come on. I'm excited for Battlefield 5. But again, they didn't really show too much. They have showed some gameplay, obviously, before E3. And everything's sorted through that. But you just thought they might have showed a little bit more off. And like you said, they seem to just focus on, basically, this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. There's no loot boxes. Everyone cheer. As if it's meant to be a good feature that they're not putting in having to pay for the game whilst you've bought the game. They shouldn't have to do that. You should just go in without having stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was obviously what the problem is with EA. They just didn't know how to really, talk about how to about the whole loot box thing. They were very they were very dancy around it. The CEO was there. He didn't say a damn word about it. So I have no idea what they are thinking, but what I did think for EA was that I think that they've kind of almost not ran out of ideas, but they don't really have much, do they? In terms of their already existing IPs like FIFA and stuff like that. They, as you can see, they didn't show any gameplay off for them because I feel like they just didn't have enough mechanics that were changed that warranted a deep dive on FIFA. Mm-hmm. As in last year, we were actually both together because we went to Park Life. We was watching E3 at the night, and we watched the FIFA reveal, and they did show off quite a lot of gameplay changes, and they showed off about the journey or whatever with what's his name, Alex Hunter, which they are doing for the Champions League. That was the only thing that they did for FIFA. They did this big reveal for the Champions League, and there was no point to it because it's not that much of a big deal. It's just overlays. Tom can talk a lot more about this. He understands a lot more about football games than I do because I just don't really take an interest in them. Do you want to talk about why the Champions League is not that even much of a big deal?
So, I've played football games for quite a lot of years now, and it's different for me going into this and seeing how they've set everything up and that they're focusing so much on the Champions League. Like, I'm not sure if this is the first time FIFA's had the Champions League license. If it's not, it's the first time they've had it for a long time, probably 10 years or so now. Because PES had the license. I've always been a fan of both games, but in my opinion, PES has better gameplay than FIFA if you want a more realistic simulation of football. Now, FIFA went into this saying that gameplay is key for them, yet showed no gameplay. That's like if you're going to say in your conference, bearing in mind that they started the conference, brought it all out, and it's just a Champions League song that they've done, Vince Staples and Hans Zimmer. I mean, that was good, like, to be fair, for the trailer and everything, they collab with that, but they've got the money to do that. The thing, though, with the Champions League license for a video game, you don't get any teams or anything included in the license. All you get is the overlays and the cup and, like, the sponsor boards and stuff. So basically, all that FIFA's been missing when they've had the fake Champions League, the Champions Cup, is the overlays. So I don't think you can market this as a big feature of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to be announced that there'll be a Champions League game mode, which PES had. So they basically took the idea of what PES did with it and put it into the game, and that's fine. Like, that makes sense. Obviously, the World Cup thing that they've just released is good, although they did spend half the time speaking about that. That's what it's going to be similar to. But going back to the point to start with, that they based the whole conference around the fact that they've got Champions League and you can play with Alex Hunter in the Champions League in the Journey, or you can play with your team in career mode in the Champions League. Mm-hmm. You could do that. It just didn't have the official name. So it's not a feature. It's literally just adding some assets to the game, which, you know, they've paid a lot of money for, but you're adding assets to the game, like overlays and stuff. You're not adding features to the game. You're not improving on the game and gameplay. You're adding a new mode, which is just a custom tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
With some overlays.
Exactly.
You could do that anyway.
Yeah, you could actually already do that. I know that, and yeah, I totally understand why you just wasn't even interested in it. And
now, I like FIFA, and I don't want to like shit on them, but I don't feel like they do a lot for the series over the years. And as much as Konami fucks about and everything, and PES has like been a downfall of that. Yeah, and the fact that it's come from a sort of more Eastern background of like having Japanese development and everything, and it's not as Western influenced, which FIFA has, and they have better visuals in that sake that they attract people in to do that.
Yeah,
they're just basically going to use this license to earn themselves more money through like Ultimate Team and stuff, and there's no reason why you can't do it without the license. They've just got a license and that's it. Like, there shouldn't be so much hype about having this license and the fact that like other games are gonna be at downfall because this license is here, and you shouldn't have this license to take away from the fact that you're bringing out a new game. Like, if you release Champions League DLC for free on FIFA 18, which they've just done with the World Cup, that's the same thing. Yeah. So what, are they just basically, is FIFA 19 just DLC for FIFA 18 because we didn't see any gameplay?
We didn't see.
And the trailer's just all based around the Champions League.
Exactly. We didn't even see anything about the journey. We usually see a cinematic trailer for that.
They mentioned something, but there's nothing.
There was nothing, and that was a common theme with this conference. It was a lot of, this is the game that we have. It's gonna have this additional thing, and that was it. Like Madden, all they said for that was they didn't even really talk about the game Madden. Instead, they spoke to some Madden champion.
Yeah, they got Juju to come out with the chat. I don't know why Juju was out there presenting that either, because he's not been involved in working on the game.
I think he's a part of the tournaments, and he like he was in the Madden tournaments as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, this is a new game they're bringing out in the series. I understand sports games, you know, you get stars to come in from the sports and everything, but you still got to treat it like you're releasing a new game, because this is where EA gets lackluster with stuff like that. They don't focus on showing off what the game is about, even though they claim they do. Hence, EA Sports, it's in the game.
Yeah.
They don't show that. They literally just focus on how can we get the most people interested in what they want to look at for this. Like, oh, NFL 19 is coming to PC. That's really good news. But then you just didn't show anything for the next 15 minutes. You showed like a little bit of CGI trailer or rendered trailer, and that's all we got.
Exactly, and they're doing a post show, but like, and then they're gonna do an EA Sports showcase. But this was your time to show off the games to your maximum potential, where you're gonna have the most eyes on you, and you didn't even bother, like trying to.
They will show like some gameplay.
Yeah, but
obviously, which we know and we're.
But they kept saying we'll talk more about this, or we'll show you more about this later in the year. That's all I kept hearing. They even said that about Battlefield.
They did.
So I really thought that they were going to come out with something a little bit better than that, but maybe they're going to have more games on like the Microsoft and the Sony ones, because they said that Battlefield is going to be shown again for Microsoft. They're going to show something brand new off for Battlefield. The same thing as well with NBA. They just didn't really show anything of the game. They show like this 1 minute video. Looks exactly like NBA 18. And it did look no different. And
I just differences coming to PC.
Yeah, it's coming to PC. No, didn't NBA always come to PC?
No, NBA 18 wasn't on. It's like I don't think it's been on PC for a long time now.
Did it skip? Because I know they did skip a year, didn't they, to take off to like revamp the game.
I don't think it's been on PC for a good few years. Like at least 3 or 4 years, it's not been on PC.
Oh, okay. Well, they just kind of see that was like a big point. They could have sold that, but they just didn't. Instead, they just wanted to like waffle on about their like EA Origin Access bloody Premiere service that they're going to come out with, which they didn't put a price plan out for, by the way, and they didn't do anything in terms of like trying to like make like be like more transparent with the consumer. Like they didn't try to like say, hey, this is going to be this much, you're going to get these many games, like you're going to get to keep the games or anything like that. Like they didn't explain what was going on with that, and I feel like EA really needs to start explaining things to people, because we've already seen what happened with Battlefront 2. A lot of fuck-ups, and Disney was not happy with what happened with the whole loot box thing. Like, I didn't think Disney were going to step in, but obviously it's their brand now, isn't it? So they need to make sure there's no negativity on them at all. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else was in it. It was really boring. Like,
yeah. If we want to speak about Disney and the Star Wars franchise and where EA's going with that, I can't remember who the developer was. Respawn, yeah. So we all knew Respawn was working on a game last year. They announced it.
They didn't announce they were working on a Star Wars game, though.
Did they not?
They just said they were working on a new game.
They announced that they were working on a Star Wars game. Someone did, and then it got trashed.
Criterion did.
Yeah, and
well, obviously, it didn't get trashed. It was pretty good. We were pretty excited for it.
I thought it was the one that... So the Uncharted writer...
It's the one that got thingied, because Criterion's been shut down now from EA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that game. It's the single-player driven.
Yeah.
But now
the work... Like the 1313
It's like what...
Spiritual successor.
Yeah. It's whatever.
But now there's going to have to be a spiritual successor to that game. But this Respawn game sounds interesting.
But remember, they're also working on a Star Wars Destiny type game as well. So I don't know what studio is working on that. I don't know if that's going to be the Respawn game, but it can't be, because that's a Jedi game.
Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah. So well, it was to be honest, I can't remember the name of it. There was another weird section in the EA thing.
The Dark Shadow, Dark Jedi.
Something to do with Star Wars, and it's going to be a Jedi game, and it's about the darkness, and it's in between, set between episodes 3 and 4.
As in the dark times, apparently.
The dark time. This is all the information we got. The dark times, and it's basically about Jedi's being hunted, and there's literally all the information that we got. We didn't get anything else, and there was no screenshots or anything. It was literally sat with one of the
developers.
Or
well, he wasn't the CEO.
Yeah, was he? I think he was
CEO of Respawn. That was
and that was everything really. We didn't get anything from that at all. It is coming the holidays 2019, so around Christmas time 2019, that will drop in. So that's exciting.
So why didn't we get anything then? We should have got at least something if they're trying to slate for like holidays next year. That means the game must be halfway done, at least.
Yeah.
Don't you think really like that's what I'm saying? Like, what would EA really like doing? Like, I feel like
they're waiting for next year to reveal it because I feel like they didn't have.
They just had way more.
They've done it before, obviously, with the last game where they announced it and did this whole video, and everyone was really excited because they showed off how the development was going.
Yeah.
And then the game got trashed, and I think they're treading really carefully because of what happened with Battlefront 2, especially with something like the Star Wars franchise now. Because literally, if they make another fuck up, then it's gone. Like, they don't own that anymore. That's going to go and outsource to somewhere else.
I'm about to say because Disney were already looking into outsourcing the Star Wars franchise to other developers, wasn't they already? So they don't need another fuck up. That's true. All I know is that their contract after this, like, if it ends or whatever, I don't know what the terms are between Disney and EA, but I feel like Disney would take their business elsewhere after like the last lot of games or whatever. Yeah, and after Star Wars, we just went into like a really random reveal of like Unravel 2. It's like a really small indie game made by like one guy. He's quite weird, and he came on the stage quite emotional, to be honest, and he showed off like this really emotional trailer about like the unraveled like character like splitting off from like, I don't know, his thread or something like that. Then he meets another unravel character, and yeah, that was the game. It looks interesting, but at the same time, like, that was the only game that they showed off properly.
Yeah,
and then they've released it today. So Unravel 2 is out now for anyone who really wanted Unravel 2, because I had no idea there was even a fan base for this game. So
yeah, apparently there's like a really big fan base for this game. It was meant to be really good.
I did hear it was good.
I never got around to playing it. It wasn't really for me. It looks quite like a relaxing platformer.
Yeah.
Again, the co-op thing probably adds to that. People will be happy to they can play it together. But like the demo was awful. Like, I can't say not the gameplay, but how boring the demo was of them like demoing the game.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on, and it sort of was the same throughout all of EA's conference, that whenever stuff was being demoed, like, basically the most exciting part of that conference for me was watching two people play Command & Conquer Rivals, the new mobile game, esports with a commentator on a mobile.
Yeah.
And like that went on for like 5 minutes, but that was like really exciting.
Yeah,
but everything else was so flat.
But they like that like moment grabbed both of our attention in it. Like, we was on the like while we was watching the conference, we was on our phones and everything. We was just like, this is so boring. And then like as soon as we seen this thing come on the screen, like Command and Conquer, we was quite intrigued, because I was thinking, oh, it's just gonna be another one of those like tower defense games. But it actually looked pretty good. And then they had like a kind of like a CG trailer for it as well, and that was really cool as well. But then like they had this really, really sloppy transition into like from like CGI into like the real game, and it was just fucking awful. But the game itself doesn't seem to be too bad. So hopefully like that would do well, but they should have really like put more investment and money into that game to make it into a proper game, because I feel like people really want a new Command and Conquer game for like the current gen consoles and like PC and stuff like that. They could have made a mobile game as well, but I feel like people really want like a console based one, or maybe a PC based one too. But I think like that was really it. And then there was another game as well called Sea of Solitude, which I think it was the lead developer who was talking at the start. I think that was her.
So it was one of these
EA originals.
the indie games that EA take on and basically try and publish and help to get exposure. It obviously has worked though, because Unraveled was through that.
Yeah, it was.
A Way Out was through that.
I don't think they're supporting them anymore.
No, I don't think so now. But this is
No,
obviously going to be a new thing.
not since his rant on the video game awards. I don't think they're bankrolling him anymore.
But it was interesting. Like, it was explained really badly.
Yeah.
Not that she didn't know how to explain it. It just, again, it was another example of maybe not as much planning going into the conference as you would expect. Mm-hmm. And everything was sort of either long-winded and not straight to the point, or it was like she was trying to describe the story and it was going from like this and it's an emotional journey and there's darkness, but then there's light and there's this, and you didn't really. All that we saw at this point was like a ship in the background, like floating on some water, like a little tiny boat, and you were like, okay, like what the hell is this game about? Do you play as a boat or what? Because I can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
And when they showed that trailer,
it was
after everything had happened. I feel like they should have showed the trailer before.
Exactly. And it's called Sea of Solitude, but I don't think it really has much to do with, like, I thought, oh fuck, another like pirate game.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit like sailing and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Sea of Thieves was terrible, and then I was like, and it has like a similar art style as well. I was like, this is not going to be like a DLC or something, like, even though Sea of Thieves is made by like Xbox. I was just like, this is going to be like another pirate game. It's going to be like a Sea of Thieves ripoff from EA. But no, it wasn't. It was totally different, very unique, very interesting, and I will be looking forward to playing it. It is out next year though, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out 2019. It's one of those games that it stood out as being different. Like, it seemed to have a lot of stuff. It seemed to have like that fire arch element that we were discussing when we were watching it.
Yeah.
But then it's got a darkness to it that you don't get in a game like that, and the way that it changes between the light and the dark stuff. With that art style as well, it's really unique and interesting how it could work.
Yeah.
And it definitely saw so there was a bit in the trailer where the playable character that you are, the girl, puts like a hand towards the water, and there's like a sort of, I don't know if it was her looking back at her or like an evil her looking back at her, because she's designed in a way where you can't really. She looks sort of menacing, but
she's like, well, from what the woman was saying, it was saying that, like, it's like a person's like battle between being good and bad, like, and she's saying like whoever like this girl is that you were playing as, she's like lost like her way, like, so she's kind of like gone down like the bad path. As you seen as well, like in the trailer, there was like people that looked like her, kind of like evil, but like she seemed to like, I don't know, like somehow she seemed to like traverse the world pretty freely, like compared to them. So
she was fighting.
She was fighting off.
She was fighting stuff off because we didn't see like combat, but there did seem as if there was some sort of boss battle or something going on in there, which again is interesting to see how everything goes. But yeah, there's not too much else that's we can really say about that. But going on from that, there's Anthem, which EA announced. Well, they announced this last year, right?
Yeah.
And then they announced all the stuff at the start.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not too much else that we can really say from that until the end. And then they just did like this half-hour, like,
it was like
about everything.
Yeah, it was a big deep dive into Anthem as a whole, as a game, and it went really exploring what the game is about. But we were just like, this is totally different compared to how the game like from the beginning of the conference. Like, why didn't EA do this with most of their games? Why didn't they do like a little 10-minute demo with each game? They would have had enough time. They would have then brought up to the 1 hour 30 mark, as opposed to it being 1 hour 20 full of just, trailers and people talking about other unnecessary things that don't need to be spoken about. So in my opinion, Anthem looks like a mashup between Destiny, Mass Effect, Halo, all of those games put in one.
Like Star Wars elements.
Yeah, it had like some Battlefront elements into it, some Star Wars elements. It just seemed like a mashup of all of those games, all of the existing EA IPs that they have, like Titanfall, all of those ones there, barring Destiny. I felt like it just lacked something, like, and when they were explaining it, it doesn't seem like the game has much of a storyline. You can't do PvP, so you can't fight each other. You can only fight whatever these enemies are, which I think is stupid. And then the storyline, there is no storyline. Something about like the gods made something that was like something called the Anthem, like something. It's stupid. It doesn't really sound like a really cohesive storyline, in my opinion. And they're doing this whole thing when they said, we've made it so the story can be like added on in years to come. Yeah, because they're gonna do that fucking expansion bullshit like Destiny, because it's a Destiny rival. That's what it's geared up to be. So what they're gonna try and do is sell everyone the game like 6 times in order for you to like get an expansion. And I totally really just don't understand why they've actually like decided to go off with this game, and if they even think it's going to be popular, because in my opinion, the general consensus is no one's really checking for Anthem that much. Like when when I looked on Twitter just a minute ago, not many people were really interested in it. They were like, we've seen this game before, like we've seen a lot of these same elements in different games already before, and all of it in one game. This ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it just made it more boring again at the end, because they were just doing this whole deep dive, and it was just boring. Like, I was not interested in it. I don't know if you was really interested in it, Tom.
But I'm not entirely too sure whether I'll be interested in it or not. Like, when it first came on, the trailer, I was interested because the style of it and everything looks really good. But the thing is that this is a different game to something like a single-player Star Wars or something, which is what I really sort of wanted from this game. And they used, like, some of the Star Wars assets by the looks of it. Like, there was stuff such as the AT&T type thing. It's like all the bars and stuff, which look very sort of Star Wars-esque. And there was quite a lot of stuff that was like going on, and then we found out that that's all in this single-player hub, and that's how you do your story. And then our story is like the open world, but like, the shared bit is the open world, and then you go into the single-player hub, and then you go back out again, and then you go back. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work at all. From a personal point of view, playing a game, like, if you're going to make a game like that, like Destiny, you don't need a story. Like, people aren't going to play it for the story, especially if the gameplay looks that vast and
exactly
spread out, because all those battles didn't seem to be that good.
No, it didn't, and that's what I was just really confused at the end of it. I was just like, we really didn't need this game right now. Like, this is not the type of game. We've got too many types of those kind of games. Like, Destiny already has their fan base. I don't really feel like Anthem is going to steal away from Destiny, in my opinion. As I said before, people are not that interested in it. Mm-hmm. It's another game from BioWare, which, you know, Andromeda really fucked up their track record last time, and a lot of people lost trust in BioWare as a developer. I don't know why, but like, I felt like they failed with the last Mass Effect. You know, there was a lot of problems, animations, all sorts of things were going wrong with that game, and that was supposed to be like the next big EA game, and it just didn't release that well.
Well, there was rumours that BioWare were going to be shut down at that point, wasn't there?
Yeah, they were supposed to be. But I think now they're working on Anthem and the new Dragon Age as well, which we didn't see.
I think that's more of the fact that they're trying to back themselves with the current games they've got, because they know that like Sony and people are coming out with Nintendo, Sony. They're coming out with games that they've got and they can show gameplay of.
Yeah.
Like, so EA have got to try and match that if they want to try and rival those exclusive games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the fact that there wasn't much gameplay, number one, is like upsetting. They've got their whole time to show it off, and I'm sure they will because they always do that. But they could have announced like some features or mechanics of the game, which would have been nice. That's what we normally get from EA, and we didn't really get that as much this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes you question, like, apart from the 30-minute interview at the end, which, in my opinion, was just like it wasn't needed.
Yes,
it was boring. It wasn't needed. I didn't really find out too much about the game from it. Like, I found out the single-player hub stuff, but it was more stuff that was like, this makes me more cautious about the game rather than that makes me want to buy the game.
Yeah.
And then they started going on about all the champion stuff, like, but it's not like a sort of arena game where you've got champions and it's important. They might be important for some of the missions and stuff, but like this, they've designed this game with, I don't know where they come when they were designing this game, which is it confuses me. So were they originally designing this game with champions in mind, and then saw the success of Destiny, changed their mind to do that, and then it's come out as like this random hybrid of like everything they've ever done?
I was about to say, I'm trying to think, like, maybe they were trying to come out with an arena shooter first.
Yeah, that's
kind
what
of
like.
Yeah, that's what it does look. Yeah, right. It looks like Quake.
Yeah,
it looks like Quake Champions right now, and obviously
it looks like Quake crossed with the Destiny art style.
Yeah, with Destiny art style, with a massive. Because when I mean these worlds, like, fair enough, the worlds are massive, very expansive worlds, but it's boring. The guy was flying.
It didn't seem like a lot of stuff going on.
Exactly, the guy was flying for like 4 minutes. We was like, what is he doing? He's just not doing anything.
Well, this is the other thing. There was how many jump cuts in the gameplay? Like, they didn't show a straight gameplay for longer than 10, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And it just kept cutting to different scenes. And it's like, this game is going to be out in around, 8 months?
Yeah.
And that's all the gameplay that we've got to see, like those snippets of stuff. I know it's playable there at the event.
Yeah.
And we're not there, obviously, so we can't play it. But, like, if it's playable there at the event and it's meant to be this online thing anyway, like...
Yeah.
How have they managed to do all of this? Like, I don't...
And I think as well that the game is a lot more close to finishing, but I heard a lot of publishers and developers have moved their game away from Red Dead because they know it's going to be the biggest game of this year. Red Dead, hands down, is going to sell the most because it's a Rockstar game, and they would have just made it in such a way where everyone's going to buy it.
The pre-orders already include online stuff, so you can see they're focused on online as well.
Yeah, there's definitely
even online games like something like Anthem, like that's the trembling and worrying about where it's going to be because of the fact that this game is coming out and it's going to be so big.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the reason why Crackdown actually got delayed, which got nothing to do with this, but Crackdown got delayed because it was the developer said that. Well, one of the guys from Microsoft came out and said that they were scared that Red Dead's success will like overshadow Crackdown because it was about to come out around the same time.
I think Crackdown overshadowed itself, but
well, we'll get on. We'll get down to exactly. We'll see tomorrow.
See what Microsoft say.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow what Microsoft are about because they've already started their bullshit because Battlefield is going to be exclusively revealed on the Microsoft stage tomorrow. So we'll see what they do with that.
So they're actually talking about that. The Battlefield story stuff looked quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm quite excited about that game. I feel like that's going to be the best game. Obviously, they announced the Battle Royale stuff we haven't spoke about yet. Battlefield Battle Royale. That seems like a good... It seems like what PUBG wanted to do, but couldn't do. So, you've got destruction, vehicles, the environment, all the weapons, all the characters.
Yeah.
like it's just using the same game, but like obviously 100 people all against each other.
Yeah, exactly. Thing about PUBG as well is, you know, all they did was they got too big for their boots. They started chasing the success and the money. Released a game that wasn't even finished on Xbox about version 1. Like it wasn't the full game. The mobile version of PUBG is way more optimized than like the console version.
Mm-hmm.
I heard even the PC version is not even that great at times. So, according to some players that I've spoken to, it's not as stabilized. But I was just like, and now they're suing Fortnite again. They're suing Epic again. They've done another lawsuit. So I don't really understand, like PUBG really, and like if it's gonna have longevity, like compared to everything. Because now you see that COD has got Battle Royale, and Battlefield has now got Battle Royale. Will PUBG survive? Fortnite will, because it's got its own lane. I think it's a different game compared to those.
Yeah.
But Battlefield,
I feel like Battlefield and PUBG are top because of this.
Yeah, they're all very similar, like games, because they're just traditional, boots on the ground, like type deal. Like it's not I felt Fortnite's a bit more like cartoonish, a bit more funnier. Like it's got like a crafting. It's got crafting elements to it. Like these ones are like traditional. You find a guy, you kill him. That's it. Take his stuff.
And the Battlefield 5 trailer really sort of showed that off. Especially there's that little bit like near towards the end where the plane comes down and the guy just gets like swallowed up in the engine. Like obviously, I don't think that's going to be a thing in the game. If it is, like.
But usually they.
But the gameplay for that looks.
Didn't it say in-game footage though at the bottom?
Yeah, but in-game in-game footage.
Yeah.
But the first trailer we saw, the transition from that to the gameplay was like.
It was seamless.
It was seamless, and
yeah,
I don't think that we've seen something like that, as good as that in. Like a while.
Well, remember when they revealed Battlefield 1 though, and the blimp came down, or whatever it's called, the Zeppelin, the really big like airship, and we was like, that's never going to be in the game, and it was in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I think the airplane thing could happen. It's probably going to be really rare and lucky. You won't be able to do that all the time, but I think it would be able to happen though. Maybe it just depends.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can happen. So just like the amount of planes you saw going down, and it just looked.
Insane.
It looks chaotic.
Yeah.
But it looks chaotic to the point where if you're trying to recreate war,
that's what it would. Yeah.
That's probably exactly what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a clue what's going on.
Planes everywhere, tanks busting through houses. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Whether that was just set like that for the trailer, I don't know. Because some of the gameplay is a little bit like more set back from that.
Yeah.
But like if it's possible that stuff like that can happen, then
if I'm basing it on Battlefield 1 and what I played from that game, it's definitely it's definitely going to be like that, because Battlefield 1 was insane. Like how you could the amount of things that everyone was doing at one point in the map. Like there'd be people who just dedicated to just being a medics. Like there was a medic team.
Yeah,
like the way how those
it's like wars. Like COD's there for people that just want to be shooting.
Yeah. But this is like
Battlefield is more like
probably need a team. Yeah,
you have to. So again, it's like if I'm going to bring it back to like the FIFA point here, but like simulation compared to arcade gamers, or arcade games, we've always got like in the games industry, it feels like it's quite a good area at the moment where we've always got like a simulation and arcade mode.
Mm-hmm.
The arcade ones seem to pick up a lot more revenue and exposure and everything because of how easy they are to pick up and play, and they tend to make more money and could put more money into stuff like that. Obviously Battlefield is an EA title, but because it's DICE, it's like, well, I was going to say because it's DICE is slightly different. Forgetting Battlefront 2, like Battlefront 2 is out of the equation. They took everything out, and fair play to them for doing that. Like, I don't think it was the developer's decision to put stuff in.
No, I don't think it is really ever the developer's decision, is it?
No, but the fact that Battlefield is making such like a play to be a simulation game. People are interested in playing the simulation side of it now, rather than just playing through the shooting stuff. Like,
yeah,
there's a point in stuff like COD where they reached the point and it was like worn out. I don't think FIFA will ever reach that point because football's such a love sport and they've got all the licenses and they're making so much money off Ultimate Team they can do what they want. But it's nice to know that like there's always a gap in the market for the simulation stuff, and if Battlefront's coming along and doing that and taking COD over, then it's good for people when they're playing games, because COD lacked a little bit for ages.
Yeah.
To be fair, Battlefield didn't do too much until Battlefield. Was it 4 or
3? I think 3 was really good.
So the original ones were really good as well.
Oh, Bad Company was sick.
They were never like on the same level as COD.
No.
People like exposure-wise, people didn't respect the game for what it was.
Well, back in those days, yeah, it was when Bad Company and that came out, it was definitely COD, and I feel like
it was still like Halo and stuff back then.
Yeah, Halo, Gears. That's why everyone was playing back then.
But it's interesting to see that they've come so far, and the game's just incredible now. But people are interested in playing it, and I think that's like totally fine that people want to be playing something like that and having to like. So if you play a Battlefield game, and you play online, obviously you've got the single player mode now as well, which COD doesn't have. We don't think yet. We're not entirely sure, but like a lot of the rumours are saying there's not. They might have confirmed it. I'm not entirely sure, but obviously we've got the single player mode you can go and play, or you can play online. If you are playing online and you're playing...
Wait, do you say whether COD has a single player mode or not?
Yeah, I don't think
Oh,
it
no,
does.
it doesn't. They're confirmed. No
confirmed?
single player mode, but there's there's specialized missions that you can play.
Yeah.
You kind of like Spec Ops. I don't know if you remember them. Yeah, it's like single missions like that you can do. That's like the only single player experience you have, which is shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, if you're comparing that to like
this mad storyline that they've got in Battlefield.
Yeah. But it's good again, like, just to see how far the game's come, people getting interested in doing stuff, and people going into a game not necessarily being on the front line of it shooting all the time. Like, sometimes you could choose to be a medic for the whole game and literally just focus on... And you have to play the game differently to do something like that. And it's stuff that people... When they're buying stuff like the arcadey sort of games like COD, and you go in and play that all the time, like you can't play the game that differently. You don't have to think about it in a different way, and you don't get a different experience from playing it as much by doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas Battlefield, I feel like if you're shooting, like it's very intense. You've got to pay a lot of attention. If you're a medic, you've just got to try and work out who needs help when. And try and run to them without being shot and work out what's going on around you. You still have to do that when you're shooting, but obviously you're on the front line, you're more exposed to trying to shoot as many people as you can, whereas if you're a medic, you know that you can't just run out because you don't have the weapons involved to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's in the trailer there's like the melee stuff where they come in at the end and like bash someone over the head, and that's fine. Like, if that's the thing as well, like, who knows? Like, it adds to the whole war scenario.
Yeah.
But it is war. Like, they're trying to make war in a game, and everyone... There was a big... Forgetting the big debacle about, there's only one woman character, whatever, in it. Like,
yeah.
And I don't think there is. There's more than that. It's just a trailer.
Yeah, I don't really...
And I think everyone just decided to get on. Like,
I just don't really know why, like, people even really super care if, like, some people's like, oh, why is it a woman protagonist? I was like, oh, it's a game, fam. Like,
it's a game. Like, it doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it is a game. Like, you don't really need to...
It's not real life. It's fiction.
Exactly. And they always say at the beginning, like, it's a fictionalized version of, like, you know, this is not that passage that you always put at the beginning of games now these days. That this is not work of, like, fiction or whatever. Like, yeah. So Probably, yeah, Battlefield's probably the only one that like I was really interested in, and Sea of Solitude as well. We thought Skate 4 was going to get announced, but it didn't. So maybe Skate 4 at Sony or Microsoft. Who knows? Who knows?
Not if it's an EA thing.
I don't see, but I don't know.
I
don't know.
I don't think so.
Skate 4 trademark has been filed for though, so that's why everyone was coming up with the speculation. And the Skate 3 online servers were turned back on this week because I think Skate 3 is coming to Xbox One. So maybe he's already on Xbox
they
One.
Might say something.
Yeah,
you might get like a sneak thing of sort of like Skate 3 is coming to Xbox One just in time for Skate 4.
Yeah. Coming in like 2020.
September 2020.
Yeah.
And then that's all they sort of give, and that's it.
Or they just be like, coming soon, like Skate 4. Yeah, I feel like, they could do that.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, that definitely could be a thing. Right, I think that was really all of the EA press conference. Should we grade it? Like, what should we do? Like an A to B, C, or do you want to do 1 out of 10?
We could do a 1 to 10.
1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Well, I think I know what yours is, or you might have changed it since then. I'd give it like, for everything that happened, I'd give it like a solid 4, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to slate it too much because some of the stuff was good, like Battlefield was good and Raveled was good, Sea of Solitude was good, but we didn't see as much gameplay and a lot of the stuff wasn't there. So I think like out of 10, a 4 would probably be around enough number for me to sort of summarize it. And then we'll go for you.
Yeah, I was gonna keep it at 4 as well. Yeah, that's what I said as well. Initially, it was 4 out of 10. Just the same things really as Tom. Like, if I seen more gameplay, and if they didn't focus so much on just really trivial things that they didn't need to focus on, like that whole Champions League reveal was just really overblown. And
it was too long.
Yeah, it was too long
on too much stuff.
Too long, and then the Unravel demo was too long for them to say like the game is out now, or like, oh wow, you just played the whole game for me. Like, it's like that's how long the demo was. Anthem was confusing. I felt like it just wasn't very organized very well. So yeah, 4 out of 10 for EA. They need to do better than this. Because I know they can do better than this as well. But I'm not really expecting much from them because, they're just greedy bastards at the end of the day. So I don't really expect much from EA. They don't care.
They don't do loot boxes anymore, so that's a positive.
Yeah, they're not going to do loot boxes for a year, Tom. They're going to do it for a year, and then we're all going to forget about it.
We know Anthem has a customizable suits, and so there's
something you can buy as well.
You can buy appearance stuff, but you can't buy stuff to make you better in the game. So I think they've learnt from that.
Yeah.
But they'll still chuck stuff in there that people will buy.
Of course.
That obviously that's the Fortnite. They've seen Fortnite works with that being free to play. But personally, I think if you buy a game, you shouldn't have to
pay anything
to get. You should be able to unlock it during the game,
and not do some mad grind either. But they even said like, oh, we're gonna get rid of the CEO goes, oh, we're getting rid of the grind. Like, oh, really now? So is that why you made a Destiny clone? The game that literally thrives off grinding. Mm-hmm. Like, I just couldn't believe and people were literally eating this shit up in the crowd as well. I think they were just happy to be there, to be honest. That's about it really. I'm excited because this has been so subpar. I'm kind of a little bit excited for Microsoft now to see what they're actually going to do.
I want to see what happens. But it's good that these are the two first conferences for us. Yeah, because we're not overly excited about them. A lot of the stuff's already been leaked, but I mean, the stuff after Microsoft. So we've got Microsoft and Bethesda tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which we're excited for. I'm more excited for Bethesda than Microsoft.
Bethesda's got some good things to reveal.
And I want to see more about Fallout, but like I say, we've covered everything that we wanted to cover from EA today. if you are interested in listening tomorrow, we're on at 11 p.m. British summertime on June 10th for the Microsoft thing. That's 6 p.m. Eastern time and 3 p.m. Pacific time as well. And then if you're interested in listening to our coverage on Bethesda and our reaction to that conference, that will be on 808s and Joysticks.com or on Spreaker, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube, all live. That'll be on at 3:30 a.m. British Standard Time, or British Summer Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. If you want to go and check all of that stuff out and check the timings over, then go and follow us on Instagram, 808s and Joysticks, or go to 808s and Joysticks.com. And if you go on the gallery page, everything is on there for you, and you'll just be able to see when we're streaming, and you can pick and choose which ones you want to listen to, or you can listen to them all. But yeah, I think we're done for that. We didn't expect it to go on this long, but it has.
Yeah, I think I think we're done for EA. This is our first live stream. We had a lot of technical difficulties, but we're working on it. We're working on trying to be better, give you better sound quality. We actually, in the middle of the show, messaged one of our good friends asking how the sound's holding up, and he said it's not bad. He said, my mic's a little bit quiet, but we're going to try and sort that out by tomorrow. Obviously, we've got the rest of the day to sort all of that
tomorrow, out. We should be able to sort that out. Obviously, with everything like this, we've tried to test as much as we could, but with something that's live, we can't follow the same procedures that we would normally follow when doing our editing process. So that does mean that there is a loss in sound quality. We will try to look at improving that, but obviously we have to stick with what we've got, and we've got a limited time frame to be able to do that in.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we don't have the world's best equipment. We don't have a full studio. We're in a bedroom. We literally sat either side of a table with 2 microphones, and we're just seeing how it goes and trying to give our opinions on everything.
DIY, we're doing we do everything ourselves. So everything from the artwork to everything, editing, mastering, mixing. So hopefully, hopefully it went well, and we hope that you're going to join us tomorrow. If anyone is listening out there, not quite sure.
We have a chat on Spreaker as well. So if anyone is listening on Spreaker, I think you can join in on the chat. So tomorrow, or if you listen to any of the other streams, then feel free to ask us questions in the chat, and we will reply. Like I said, this is the first time we do this, so we're not exactly sure
and
how a lot of the stuff works.
And I think this is going to be uploaded as well, isn't it?
We have a choice to upload this,
Yeah.
This episode will probably be worse sound quality than all the other episodes that are out there.
Yeah.
However, for the next episodes, for the live stream, we will look to see if we can follow the same procedure at the same time as doing a live stream to record it. If not, obviously, you'll still get the same content that you've just listened to. But again, we have to stick with what we've got, and there's some drawbacks to doing stuff live, and we've witnessed that. But I think it went well. It's successful, and we definitely enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to the next 3 days of covering E3 for everyone.
Yep. Well, I'm Tyrell, and as you know, it's Tom, and we're 808s and Joysticks, and thank you for joining us on our first ever live stream. Thanks.
Bye.